Tyson says he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
This is what I'm saying. How does that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his. So if it goes any other way, you know.
You give me the headline there, by the way.
If it goes any other way, you know it's fixed, don't you?
Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now?
I don't want to fight Jake Paul.
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off.
Jake Paul's boxing journey has been filled with bold callouts and headline-grabbing matchups. But now the YouTube star turned prizefighter may be staring down the most dangerous challenge of his career, Anthony Joshua. While Paul has built an impressive following and secured a few notable wins, boxing experts are sounding the alarm, warning that stepping into the ring with a two-time heavyweight champion like Joshua could be a disastrous move. From Joshua's devastating knockout power to his elite experience against the best in the sport, analysts believe this matchup isn't just risky, it could end Paul's boxing run in brutal fashion.
Jake Paul has reached out to Anthony Joshua a few times. I've spoken to Nakisa, Jake's manager. It's never a fight we anticipated. It's never a fight we've targeted. But if you want Jake Paul to be the warm-up fight, and obviously financially it's a great opportunity for AJ, and you want to provide AJ and probably in turn Matchroom with the opportunity to extinguish Jake Paul from the world of boxing, then maybe AJ will oblige.
In a recent interview, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn stated that Jake Paul is absolutely the frontrunner to be Joshua's next opponent. He acknowledged that active negotiations are underway between Joshua's camp and Paul's manager, Nakisa Bidarian. While Hearn admitted the matchup is extremely dangerous for Paul, he emphasized its massive commercial appeal. As things stand, he believes the bout is likely to take place in early 2026.
Jake Paul's manager here last week, and he's open to the fight. Any developments on that?
Lots. I mean, this bizarre world that we live in, I think Jake Paul is absolutely the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for meetings about that fight. There's an open dialogue between myself and Nakisa, an MVP. I don't know what to tell you, Bridgie, other than it's mental. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you this is a 50-50 matchup. The whole thing is bizarre. I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. I got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua.
Paul also hinted that a showdown with Joshua is looking very likely for next year, revealing that the two have been exchanging DMs, and that Joshua even called him to push the idea forward. Paul echoed that conversation, saying Joshua suggested staging the fight toward the end of 2025, with a full bout expected in early 2026. Bidarian reinforced that timeline, confirming that active discussions are indeed underway for what could be a monumental matchup.
I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Jake Paul has positioned a potential Anthony Joshua fight as a revitalizing force for boxing. He believes the matchup would inject fresh energy, attract new fans, and generate significant global attention. Paul likens himself to a breath of fresh air in the sport, asserting that his mainstream appeal can draw younger audiences who might not typically follow traditional boxing. He emphasizes that the sport needs revitalization, and claims that his presence can help bridge the gap between mainstream entertainment and boxing's traditional audience.
It's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person, which are always fun. But it's going to happen, and it's just such an exciting fight that crosses the whole globe. When you ask a lot of people about certain boxers, they don't know their names. And everywhere I've been going, I just talk about Anthony, and I don't have, you know, I'm global. So it's just such a good fight for the sport of boxing, and people will think I will die, but I will show them why I can rise against all odds and beat him.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
The boxing community and fans have expressed strong opinions regarding Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua. Many believe that Paul's ambition to fight a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua is unrealistic, if not outright overambitious.
Real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, at Jake Paul is the truth. Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects in Jake. But in the middle there, I don't know if she would know or, you know, whatever, but she essentially says that Jake was scheduled to fight Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Rafael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional.
Critics argue that Jake Paul's recent actions, including his victory over 58-year-old Mike Tyson, highlight a troubling trend in his boxing career. Many view his choice to face an aging legend as a spectacle rather than a legitimate challenge, casting doubt on his commitment to the sport. Notable figures like Carl Froch have dismissed Paul's performances as lacking genuine skill, suggesting that his success is rooted more in entertainment value than in athletic prowess.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He took a L there. But Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening. It's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face-to-face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's going to fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly going to be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Eddie Hearn acknowledged the buzz a clash with Jake Paul could create, but issued a stark warning that Paul should tread carefully. He labeled Paul as bold, perhaps reckless, for chasing a bout with Joshua, a proven heavyweight powerhouse. While the financial rewards for both fighters would be enormous, Hearn stressed the severe danger in pairing a novice like Paul with a battle-hardened veteran. He didn't mince words, calling the matchup a potential disaster that could derail Paul's boxing journey entirely, whether through physical harm or public humiliation. Despite the hype such a showdown would generate, Hearn made it clear, the risks far outweigh the spectacle.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ... I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul at the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed-up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on. I'd like to see it.
Andre Ward has weighed in on the situation, saying that boxers don't get frustrated when someone like Jake Paul calls out legends. Ward explained that if it happened to him, he wouldn't take it seriously, adding, I don't have time to entertain the circus. His comments suggest that he views Paul's fights as more of an entertainment act than real boxing competition. Many professional boxers have shared similar sentiments, stating they don't see Paul's fights as legitimate within the sport.